I'm probably going to turn off my video so you can do your thing. It's 3:05. We've got a couple of people, so um, and we're about to go live stream on Facebook. No worries.
No pressure, right?
No pressure. No pressure at all.
Let me know when you want me to start.
It's actually 3:05. I'll go ahead and let you start now.
All righty. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Simone Gardner, and I'm so glad you guys decided to join us this afternoon for the YWCA Living the Dream. And we're talking about entrepreneurship. I am Simone Gardner, as I said. I am one of the business consultants and coaches with the Living the Dream workshop. Currently have a couple of clients, not sure if they're on or not, but hi. And just wanted to give some information about me and entrepreneurship. My assignment was to talk about who I am, how I got to where I am, and all that good stuff. So first, I'm going to start with who I am, and I must say first, I am a woman or a vessel that God chose to fulfill His purpose here on the earth. That's that's, that's who I am. I say that confidently because it's not of my own. So what do I do? I am a real estate broker. I'm also a business consultant and coach. I have two separate businesses, excuse me, and have several gifts that I use to help people. My number one passion is helping people fulfill their vision, helping people see their purpose, to pull the gifts out of them, to let them walk out their God-given purpose on this earth. And so that is my assignment on the earth. That is my passion in many ways that can happen. That can be through entrepreneurship. That can be through working for someone else, but you're doing what you were assigned to do. So that's part of what I call myself a midwife, because I help push you to fulfill your vision and come out of the fear zone and do what you're supposed to do. I started doing business consulting in 2007 when I lost my job. An opportunity dropped in my lap. I didn't know what I was going to do. I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. It was when the mental health system had been diversified from the different individual counties. And so I had the opportunity to help someone start their own mental health agency. A girlfriend called me and said, Simone, do you think you can do this? I said, I don't know if I can do this or not, but I took it. And so from there, didn't realize I had been doing business consulting all my life. Even as a child, I didn't realize I was an entrepreneur. And so that's one reason I think it's so important for parents or teachers or us as adults, whomever the community, that we feed into our children and show them and pull out the gifts in them, help them identify the gifts within them, because a lot of our children are entrepreneurs from birth. And so it's so important that we recognize that as well. And so myself, I got started late in life, still didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur, just realized I was not satisfied working for someone else. And that's another day for the story. Okay. So I started real estate in 2017 and started my own firm last year. Again, just going a path that I felt God led me down. It was not a path that I chose. I kicked and screamed going, but I did it. And so here I am. I enjoy it. I love working with first-time home buyers. I love working with second-time home buyers, helping people fulfill their dream, especially first-time home buyers, because it's such a joy to see them get that key and realize that they were able to do this. And especially those first-generation home buyers. You know, we had those first generation going to college, and then the first generation home buying. It's an awesome feeling to see those people and experience, to walk with them down that journey. So that's real estate for me. Why did I choose entrepreneurship? I didn't choose entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship chose me. So like real estate, didn't realize that I was an entrepreneur. There are given days, there are seasons that I'd say, you know, let's just go back to work. Let's not do this entrepreneurship journey anymore. But we have to walk it out as we see fit. And I wrote some notes down, so bear with me. Tips for entrepreneurs. So the first tip I have is don't turn down opportunities just because you think you cannot do it. Had I not taken the opportunity to help someone open a mental health agency, I wouldn't probably be doing business consulting. That was the first launch for me. And so there's a saying that I think Richard Brannon or somebody says, figure it out later. Accept the opportunity. Don't turn down an opportunity. Figure it out later. There are a lot of opportunities that I take that I'm not sure I can do. I would never let the client know that, but we're going to figure it out along the way. And so we don't always know the end from the beginning. And so my tip for entrepreneurs is don't turn down opportunities, because they can come and you could be the best at it and you don't realize it. I remember I was serving in a ministry a few years ago, and the pastor, when I first got to the church, they said, go, we want you to be over hospitality. I had never done hospitality a day in my life. I didn't like to do groups, didn't socialize, loved hospitality, didn't realize that was a gift I had. So don't turn down opportunities, try it. And then if you say, it's not for me, then realize you can't do it. But don't ever turn down opportunities that you believe that you don't think you can do just because of fear or intimidation. You have to step out on faith. Whatever your faith is to you, entrepreneurs, it's a faith walk daily. Regardless of how easy people say it looks or it is, it's not. It's not an easy journey. It's not for the faint of heart. So it's a faith walk, and not a faith today and faith tomorrow, or I'm going to do it today but not do it tomorrow. You have to know that you know in your gut that this is the call that's on your life, and be sure-footed and unmovable. Once you know that this is what you're supposed to do, and the right time, the timing is right, we have to jump, and we have to do it afraid. And timing has to be right. Excuse me, if the timing is not right, if you don't have anything written out, I'm not saying a complete business plan has to be completely written out before you launch, but if you don't know where you're going, so the timing has to be right. Be sure the timing is right. You think about it, you process it. I always tell my clients there are 4 stages. We see something, which is a vision. We visualize it. We think about it, we plan, and then we do. So often I'm the one that sees it and then goes, which is not always a good thing. Sometimes people get stuck at the thinking stage. Sometimes people get stuck at the planning stage because of fear of going. But we have to know that we have to, at some point, move from thinking to processing, from processing and planning to going. Okay. My second tip is be bold, be confident. We often underestimate ourselves and we play small, whether that's fear of success because of people, our circle. We don't want them to think different of us, or we don't want to offend someone, or we're not confident in ourselves. But I say be confident and be bold. That's something I did not have. And I still struggle with it sometimes, but be confident in who you are, and know that you were made for greatness. Know that you were made to do this. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. If that's the case, everyone will be doing it. So it's a great call that we have as entrepreneurs, and we have to do it with boldness and with confidence. Yeah, when you walk in the room, you hold your head high and know that you belong at that table. You belong in that room, regardless of the suits in the room, regardless of the people that's wearing ties, or you be confident and walk in that room. You walk in that bank with your head held high if you're going in for financing. And if they reject you, so what? It's a no, big deal. It only takes one yes. And so, be bold and confident. That's probably the biggest thing that I could tell someone. We often play small, and I play small. I used to play small to make other people feel comfortable, and we can't do that anymore because that's not going to get us anywhere. So greatness is on the inside of all of us. And it's up to us that we choose to walk that greatness out every single day. Even the days that we don't feel like getting out of bed, even the seasons. And I keep saying seasons because sometimes it's more than just one day. Sometimes it's a season that we're going through, that we're walking through in our lives, our individual lives, and we don't want to hold our head up. We don't feel great, but guess what? We're still great. All right. The second, the third, fourth tip, next tip. You may not have all the pieces in place, and what it looks like at the beginning will not be what it looks like in the middle or the end. As I said earlier, we don't know the end from the beginning. So it may look like this on May 1st, but by September 30th, it may look like something entirely different. So just know that you may not have all the pieces together when you step out, when you launch. You may have to say, you know what, it's time for me to start selling my cookies. And you may be selling, I'm working with a client now that's just been selling her cookies, her cupcakes to her family or friends or coworkers or people who know her. So now she's ready to go to the next level. But guess what? She started. And so you may not have the big picture out. Now, I'm not telling you to go rent a storefront. I'm not telling you to do any of that until you've done your homework. But what I am saying, if it's something that you know you're supposed to do, then do it. I knew it was time for me to start my own real estate firm. I don't have an office. I don't have a storefront. It's not time for that yet. But I knew it was supposed to, and I couldn't allow the hesitation and the fear about me not having a so-called office or storefront to stop me. People ask, where's your office? My home. You work from home. In this society, in this culture now, working from home is okay. It's okay. All right. So just know that you may not have all the pieces together when you start. You have to be flexible. Be married to the assignment and not the vehicle. You have to be willing to be flexible. And I say that, what do you mean, Simone? What do you mean vehicle? The journey that gets you to the end. You know what your goal is. You have the vision before you. Whether you have a vision board, whether you've written the vision, write the vision and make it plain. But you have to be flexible and be married. Be married to the assignment. Your assignment is, my assignment is real estate, to sell, help people find homes and larger. I'm married to that assignment. I'm not married to the vehicle on how I get to my end goal. Okay, because it may be that I have to spread out, that I'm going to spread outside North Carolina, but it may be that my journey, that I start sooner here than later, or later than sooner. So just don't, just be flexible. Be okay with, okay, you know what, this didn't work, but we're going to try this, because the idea that the goal is, you know what, to sell homes for people and educate people and inspire people and empower people to home ownership. Okay. So just be married to your assignment and not your goal. Next, life is hard. So be kind to yourself. Making mistakes is inevitable. We're all going to make mistakes, whether you're working for yourself or you're working for someone else, or someone else. You are going to make mistakes. Be okay with not being perfect. Be okay with the business not being perfect. Be okay with every customer service interaction or transaction not being perfect. Perfection is the enemy to success. Just know that perfection is the enemy to success, because you never get started. That you get stuck at that thinking stage and that planning stage because you want everything to line up just perfectly. That's not reality. That's not reality. So be okay with making mistakes. Be good to yourself. Be kind to yourself. Know that in the end, it's all going to work out like it's supposed to. Okay? Know your weaknesses and know your strengths. We often don't want to know our weaknesses. We don't want to admit our weaknesses. We want to sit with a puffed up chest and say, oh, this is my strength and I do this well. We all do things well, but we also don't do everything well. Math is not my strongest subject. It's not. I wish it was. Counting money, I can count money, yes. But math is not my strongest subject, and I'm okay with that. That's why I know I need a tax professional that will come in and take care of my books, and an accountant at some point to take care of my books, because that's just not that's not my area. But I truly believe that every joint supplies. So while my strong suit may be program development, my strong suit may be being your midwife or pushing someone to their goal. Someone else's may be graphic designing. Someone else's may be, I don't know, reading every document and crossing every T and dotting every I. That's not my strong suit. The perfection is in the details. That's someone else's business to do. So guess what? We all come together and we all form a business. If we can all work together, I know it's like a kumbaya moment, but the reality of it is, that's true. If we learn to depend on one another and understand everyone's strengths and everyone's weaknesses, we want people on our team that have gifts and talents that we don't have. And sometimes that intimidates us. I often say that if we're the smartest person in our circle, then it's time for us to change circles. It's time for us to change teams. Because if we're the smartest person, then you're not growing. You're not expanding your mindset. And so your team that you're surrounding yourself with to help build your business, they need to have different gifts that you don't have. And you have gifts that they don't have. And that's why we come together as a team. Sometimes we're like I said, we downplay sometimes we downplay our strengths. Sometimes because that goes back to playing small. I used to talk to this young lady, and she used to always say to me, Simone, stop playing small. And the reality of us playing small, because again, we don't want people to think we're being arrogant. We don't want people to think that we are being cocky. But if you know your strength, you need to hone in on that strength. Don't downplay your strengths, and don't downplay your weaknesses either, because neither one needs to be downplayed. We need to know what they are so that we can identify where we need help. Okay, so be vigilant towards your goal. Be tenacious. Be like I say often. My mom sometimes digs her heels in, and she's like a dog with a pork chop. Okay, be a dog like a pork. Be a dog with a pork chop. Be tenacious. Be goal oriented. Don't let off the gas pedal when you're ready to go for your goal. Even if you start, then I say let off the gas. You may be going 15 miles per hour. Okay, that's okay, because guess what? Your foot is on the pedal. Stay focused, stay tenacious. Don't look to your right lane and you see how fast someone else is going. Stay in your lane. Don't worry about what your neighbor is doing. Don't even worry about what your competitor is doing. Yes, we do need to know who our competitors are. We need to know who's out there. But I think sometimes we're taught so much that we should focus on what our competitors are doing and that we don't stay in our own lane. We have to run our own race. Your race is your own race to run. Social media, in the social media world, we see so much. We see so many people doing this, they're doing that, but they don't take pictures of them crying at night. They don't take pictures of them stressed out because this client is doing A, B, C, and D, or the client has placed the order and hasn't picked it up. So stay in your own lane. Focus on what your goal is and just put your foot on the pedal and just go for it. If you're going 15 miles per hour in April, pick up the speed a little by July, August, if you need to. If not, guess what? You keep it your own pace. Okay? Stay focused on you. Don't be afraid or too proud to ask for help. So often we want to do it all on our own. One, because we don't think that we have the support system that will support us or can support us. You know, some of us may have been told, oh, you'll never make it, or you need to do this, don't do that. I have a girlfriend, she has a bookstore, and she started off online, I think for 8 years. I think it was 8 years, and now she finally has a storefront. And her circle or her support system told her that she didn't need to quit her job. She had a good job. She didn't need to quit her job, but she knew that what she was supposed to be doing. She knew it was on the inside of her, and she knew that was her assignment. And so she struggled for many years, but now she's a storefront. She's doing well, and so proud of her. But yes, just know that you have to ask for help. You know, I think the YWCA has an awesome program that's available to society, to the community. And so don't be afraid or too prideful, because that's sometimes it's about pride. Sometimes we don't want people to think that we can't accomplish this ourselves. We can't do this ourselves. Know that there's no shame in asking for help. There's shame in not asking for help. Okay. Don't be afraid or too proud to networking. People don't believe it, but I'm an extrovert introvert. Networking is not my favorite thing to do, but networking isn't always going into, and I let me say this, networking in a room of people, introducing yourselves, things like that. That's not my favorite thing to do. And often that's how we see networking. We see networking as, okay, let's get a networking session together. And we get in there, we talk about, get in the room, we talk about ourselves, and we say this and we say that and talk about yourself. And I'm not great at talking about myself. So, but network with people who have what you need. Network, don't be afraid to network with, or introduce yourself to people. You never know who has what you need. And don't be so selfish that we save our contacts and not share them with other people. So often, I'm gonna hoard my contacts, or I'm not gonna help you. I'm not gonna give that person to you because, but you're not, but you know that person can help your next brother or sister along. Let's share contacts. Now, if you know your brother or sister is not up to par, and you know, then no, don't share your contact. But don't be afraid to network, because you don't know what that person may need and then may reciprocate and give back to you. So don't be afraid to network. Don't be afraid to barter for services as well. So often we're looking for the almighty dollar to be the payoff. But if Kim Yarda does graphic design and I do bake cupcakes, and she has a child's, that's not happening, Kim Yarda. But if she has a child that needs a cake cooked or cupcakes made, and that's what I do, then possibly maybe her and I can barter services. Look, let me help you do this. Let me help you do that. Or I do nonprofit work and she'll do some graphic designs for me. I'll go in and help with her nonprofit status, getting her paperwork together. So don't be afraid to barter for services among your colleagues. And that's why it's important for networking, because you don't know who has what you need. And that's what we have to be aware of everyone in our community, not everyone in our community, but in your close circle that does what you do and that don't do what you do. Because you don't need someone, well, you do need someone that does what you do, but you need a team of people that you can surround yourself, that will surround you with the skills that you don't have. Okay. Also, don't be afraid to hire millennials. I believe everyone needs a millennial on their team. We often think, and I don't know who's on the line, but us middle-aged folk are afraid of millennials sometimes, because we feel like, oh, they know the techie, or they don't have the work ethic, or just, I've heard so much. But millennials are great. They need to be trained. They need to be taught, just like we were trained and taught. But they know so much more. They think outside of the box. Okay, they think outside the box. And that's another tip. Think outside of the box. Don't do things the same way other people are doing. Yes, as I said earlier. Yes, not research and Generation Z. Thank you, Kim Yarden, and Generation Z. Yes. And don't think about, I'm not saying that you don't, people say study your competition. If you spend time studying your competition, then when are you studying your own business? So I'm not saying study your competition. I'm saying know your competition, know who's out there, but focus on you and think outside the box. Don't focus on doing the same way, the things the same way the cupcakery down the street, the bakery down the street are doing them, or the pet cleaning company or the house cleaning company, the way they are doing things. You do you. There's the authentic spirit in all of us that are different, and we have to hone in on those things. Okay. We have to be willing to, you have to have a drive to be an entrepreneur. It's not an easy job, as I said. My cousin said to me many, many years ago, he said, I can't be an entrepreneur, I'm too lazy. And that's true. And I didn't understand what he meant then, but I do now. Entrepreneurship is not for the faint of heart. I said, you have to have a drive. And every day, the drive is your goal. When you have a drive that you get up every morning, whether you went to bed at 12 o'clock at night and you're back up at 5 o'clock, that's a drive. You have a drive and be willing to go outside of your comfort zone, your area of where you live. A lot of people don't want to drive outside of their living space. Be willing to go 25 miles or 30 miles. If the business is there, go there. I was talking to a gentleman, he's a handyman the other day, and he said, Simone, I have to go where the business is. So don't lose opportunities because you think it's too far. Now, again, when I'm working with one of the clients and we realized that her renting a space somewhere was too, she wasn't evening out, it wasn't coming out, it wasn't making a profit, she wasn't doing a profit, so it wasn't going to benefit her to rent this particular place. But if it was, then guess what, then that's what we need to do. But guess what, she'll drive her baked goods to someone if she needs to. So don't be afraid to drive outside of your comfort zone. But when I said you have to have a drive, that just came to me when I said that. You have to have a drive when you're an entrepreneur. You have to be willing to go the extra mile. You have to be willing to work beyond hours that are comfortable, the 9 to 5. It's not the reason they say 9 to 5 versus entrepreneurship, because entrepreneurship sometimes is 9 to 10 or 9 to 7 or 10 to 6 or 10 to 11 some days. It just, entrepreneurship, you have to have a drive. Okay. I know we see a lot on social media saying, oh, we don't sleep. Sleeping is for losers. That is not true. Our bodies were created to rejuvenate. So get sleep. Don't feel like you are the person beside you or next to you, or you see on social media, or you're a wimp because you're sleeping. You need to sleep. You need to get rest. You need to rest your mind. You need to rest your body. You need to rest. So don't drive yourself in the ground, because if your body doesn't get rest, guess what? It's going to break down on you. And we don't need broken down bodies. Okay. And last, there's a book I'm going to actually recommend. Am I allowed to do that, Kimiarda? Am I allowed to recommend a book or 2 books?
Yes, please do.
Okay. So one of the things I do, Kimiarda said, tell what you do to be successful at. I don't know. But one of the things I do believe in are saying affirmations. I believe in saying affirmations. I have on my phone a note page of affirmations. I have affirmations around my house. Some of them are scriptures. Some of them are just sayings I've heard. But I believe in affirmations. I believe in if it's nothing more than you're telling yourself that you are smart and you are bold. I know there was a movie, what was it called? The Help. You're smart, you're beautiful. If you could tell yourself that every day until you start to believe it, then do it. That you can do this. When you go out into the world, when you leave your house every day, you give your 100% and you walk into greatness. Walk in the greatness that's on your life. I believe in that. But the books are called The Greatest Salesman of the World. It's an old book by Og somebody. It's in there. And there are actually two of them. And they're great. They're just their affirmations. You're supposed to read them. But the one that we're on now, it's called Never Again Will I Perform Any Task at Less Than My Best. So often, if you have an entrepreneur spirit, and I'm telling on myself, when you're working for someone else, you may not work your best. You may work for your clients the best. I was an awesome case manager for my clients. The documentation piece, not so much. But you work hard but as you perform your task every day, do not perform any task at less than your best. And I say this to you, if you're working for someone else or if you are working for yourself, never perform any task at less than your best. And they're called scrolls. That scroll, that affirmation is talking about going the extra mile. As an entrepreneur, you have to be willing to go the extra mile. I'm not saying that you should work yourself in the hole, but we cannot get caught up on the financial reward. Because in the end, if you go the extra mile and you do more than what you're paying for, your clients will refer you. You'll become more clients. It's just the atmosphere, the universe will repay you for that. And so we have to go the extra mile in doing what we do, because your business represents you. It's no longer if you work for Hunter's Bakery, I don't know, and you do a sloppy job there, but then you start and you go open your own cupcakery. You can't do a sloppy job there. But usually, if it's your own, you do better anyway, which is not necessarily good, but a great idea. But it's just reality of it. It's yours. It's your baby. So you have to take care of it. Take care of your baby. Make sure that you are nurturing your baby. Nurturing your baby. Make sure you're feeding your baby. It's your baby. It's your business. And so make sure that you're taking care of it. Make sure you're representing it well, and it represents you well. If you bring on employees, something that when I had my nonprofit, I did not do, I felt like I was still a social worker. And so I brought on people that didn't necessarily meet the qualifications for the job that I needed. And so if you're a social worker, you have that tendency to bring on projects. Well, when you're hiring employees, make sure you're hiring employees that have the same mindset, that believe in your vision like you do. That's not just looking for a paycheck. Sometimes we just hire people to get hands on, to get hands, because we just need help. We need help. But I promise you, it's going to be your downfall if you just bring on employees just to bring on employees, or just to say you have someone, because it's not going to last. It's that they're for a paycheck, and the minute they find that they're going to jump to another job that's going to pay them 50 cents more or 25 cents more. And so know that you have to know the worth of your business and know your own worth. Know your own worth. If I can't say it enough, know your own worth. Okay? That's it for me, Kimiarda, unless anyone has any questions.
Yeah, I would like to open it up now for questions.
Okay.
If anyone has any questions for Miss Simone, now is the time. And if you don't want to speak out loud, you can put in the chat. One thing I would like to say, what you said about affirmations and being the best that you can be, that is a go-to, and that is I was really proud and really happy that you said that, because a lot of people have not been taught that and don't have that faith in themselves. And so you may have something that's rooted in you and you know you can do it, but you just haven't been taught, or no one pushed you to do it. You have to believe in yourself. So when you said that, I commend you. I applaud you for that. And that was great, because people need to know that, those affirmations every day and speaking highly of themselves and pushing for greatness, they need to hear those things. And, that goes for if you're an entrepreneur, if you have another job and you got a job and you want to be an entrepreneur. So I really enjoyed that.
Awesome. Yeah. And I grew up, and I'll be great parents, awesome parents. God, my dad, God rest his soul. Great parents, but we have to remember our parents only know what they know.
Yes.
And so my parents weren't raised in an era, or they weren't poured into, so they didn't know they need to pour into the children.
Yes.
That. And so you walk around for complex. And so it wasn't until later in life I realized, you know what, other people started pouring into me. So therefore I started pouring into myself. And so know that you're great. You are here on this earth for a reason. So yes, you're great. You're great.
Okay. Autumn Butler has a question.
Hey, Autumn.
Hi, thank you so much for calling on me to answer this question. Yes, what you were just talking about, I just wanted to, ask a little bit more about. The affirmations are great, and I'm just taking a moment to acknowledge for myself that affirmations work in practice, not in theory. You can think they're a great idea, but I'm definitely gonna commit to myself to start really practicing them every day. But I also just wanted to go a little deeper into that in terms of like the confidence level, because I know, like, for myself, my parents were addicts in active addiction when I was in high school. And I was a scholarship student at one of the best high schools in the world. And, I really studied hard and worked hard, but I have felt myself very much feel that, just not have the confidence level that I would want. It's almost like I was looking at my parents, and I just have this enduring belief that, that is my fate is going to be the same as my parents, no matter how hard I work. And I know that's not even in alignment with my personal spiritual and religious beliefs.
Mm-hmm.
But I was just wondering if there's anything else that you did or that you can recommend aside from affirmations to kind of boost confidence and self-esteem in the business.
Truthfully, I talked to myself. I had to talk to myself, and I still talk to myself. You have this. You can do this, girl, every day. I think the reason I say affirmations is because when you start reading the affirmations, you may not believe them. You may not believe them, and it may take a while before you even start seeing what you're saying. I prophesy. I say it every day. I'm going to be a billionaire. I'm going to be a billionaire. Do I have it? No, not yet, but it's coming. But I will tell you, the affirmations built up my confidence, because when I started doing the affirmations, I didn't have the confidence. I didn't have the boldness. I was kind of like you. I was like, well, I'm not going to say them because they're not working, or it's not true, or I feel like I'm lying, or I don't believe it myself. Continue to do the affirmations. Continue to speak what you want to see in your life. I am confident, I am bold, I am smart, I have wisdom. So you continue to speak, and you're not your parents, and I hate that my ex-sister-in-law was addicted to drugs as well. But know that you have the confidence, it's in you. You have to pull it out. And so sometimes we'll have people in our lives that will pour into us, but it's just, you could read all the books in the world. I know someone who loves to read. She loves to read books. She loves to read, but then she never puts the books down. She never steps out to start, okay, now it's time to start doing what I'm reading. And so I say to you, you have to encourage yourself. So sometimes there's not people around. So you have, even when you don't, this morning was not the morning. I had to encourage myself. I had to, Kenyatta called me and said, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "I'm as ready as I'm gonna be." So, yeah. So you have to speak to yourself. You have to speak to yourself, because often you won't have someone around you to speak to you, or that person may be going through something that they're not able to pour into you that day. So guess who's in charge? Autumn's in charge. So put them a big poster. I don't care where they are, little post-it notes, whatever works for you. You make sure you set a timer. I have a timer for one of my affirmations that I speak daily. It comes a reminder on my phone. It pops up at 9 o'clock every morning. And so I have to stop. I have to make myself stop and read it. So yes. And there may be, if you're an app person, you look like you're millennial, I'm assuming. So you probably do apps a lot. If there's an app, if someone was talking about an app that she uses, or she tells Siri to remind her every day to do her affirmation, or to remind her that she's smart. I haven't figured that part out yet. But yes, just just whatever works for you, but you have to do it, because guess what? And the pages, the words don't come off the pages. So people always say, what's practical? To read them, to keep reading them, to keep reading them, to keep reading them, to keep reading them. Because nothing's going to build your confidence until you go out and do what you need to do.
If I could add something, I would also say, Autumn, at the end of your day and at the beginning of your day, get in front of your mirror and look and talk to yourself. Yeah. Speak to yourself. Tell yourself how beautiful you are today. Look at yourself and say, "Oh, girl, you got it going on today." Do that at the beginning of your day. Do it at the end of your day. If you in the car, look in your rearview mirror and say, I like what I look like today. That's Praise yourself.
That's right.
Push yourself.
That's right.
And when she said about the affirmations in the app, there's plenty of them on YouTube. You can find some affirmations on YouTube. Just type in affirmation, and whatever you may be feeling that day, say you have depression, affirmation for depression, and it'll pop up. Guided meditation is one of my go-tos. One of the person I like is Doxy's meditation on YouTube. He's awesome. His voice is so calming, and he's such a relaxing person. And I breathe and I do my breathing exercises with him. And before you know it, I'm asleep. I wake up, it's 3 a.m. So there are outlets that you can use. But if you like Simone said, if you can't get to that outlet, look in the mirror and say it to yourself. Look in the mirror and say it to yourself. Even if you can't get to a mirror, if you got a pocket hand mirror in your, or you got your cell phone, put your video on and look at yourself and tell yourself you're beautiful today and you can do this. So I love everything you said. Simone, you're on it. Autumn, you got it.
You got it.
Are there any other questions?
I used to have in my bathroom mirror some years ago, I had Post-its literally covered up. My mom came to visit me. She said, we can't see ourselves because I had so many Post-its and pieces of paper all over the mirror. It was a little square opening. So whatever works for you, do it. Yes. You got this. You got this.
Great, great. Any more questions or comments? Well, you can put some stuff in the chat. Simone, Jasmine from New Hanover Housing Authority said, thank you.
Thank
this
you.
You gave some great takeaways.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, so this was awesome. I thank you for this. I have one more message here. Oh yeah, Autumn says thank you.
Thank you.
So this was really, really good. Thank you for all your viewpoints and all the golden nuggets that you gave, because they were great.
Thank you.
We're gonna have to do this again. Yeah, I love what you spoke about, and I love the confidence that you gave our listeners. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Would love to do it again.
All right. So this will be the end of our workshop. Thank you all for coming. Velda said this is what we.
Oh, I love doing them, Velda. I love encouraging people. I do, because I know where I came from. So I love it.
This was really good. My also Grace, our communication person, said you're awesome. This is good. So this is great.
Thank you, Grace. Love your name.
All right, so we're going to end this. Thank you for everything. Thank you for everyone who came. We'll see you next time.
Have a good evening. Thank you.